Welcome to Grace Archie with Jim Babka. I'm Jim Babka in a special little installment we call Instant Grace. You know, regarding Donald Trump, how about we call balls and strikes? I have Max Borders to thank for that analogy. It's so obvious and so clear. When you're observing anyone's record, it's best to call out the balls and the strikes. In other words, the umpire doesn't step up to the plate, look at one of the teams and say, I don't like the cut of their jib. You get 27 outs and a loss. Each pitch is analyzed one by one. Balls and strikes, fair or foul, the whole thing. And that's how umpiring works. It's also the most rational approach. Now, some things Donald Trump is and will do will be good. And frankly, that list was relatively short in his first term. This is clearly a different type of administration. So different that within the last month, I heard a borderline socialist commentator long for the days of Steve Bannon. Now, on the other hand, and I don't want you to miss this point, there are some things that this new administration is doing that I loathe for their sheer stupidity and potential for danger. And there are things that I find repulsive due to their malice or lack of foresight. Tariffs would fit the former bill and deportations would fit the latter. But it's also the case that we're seeing things that this cynical libertarian didn't believe or expect. How about the pardon of Ross Ulbricht or the direct challenges to key members of the deep state? And I could go on for a while about the exposure of the USAID. And I, by the way, doubt this grift will disappear. It's probably going to morph. But the stuff that's happened over it initially, very exciting. Elon's audit, the retirement buyout of government employees followed quickly by layoffs, and the serious talk about closing the Department of Education are all things that, well, I don't know. Let me give you another one. I'm sitting here thinking Trump put out an offer to the Russians and the Chinese for a peace treaty where we would reduce our militaries 50%. This is reminiscent of the old SALT treaties. This could be an exciting development. Now, so far, the Trump administration, the new process has been admittedly messy. There's more positive potential that's happened just in the first month of this administration than tends to happen in a given term of any president in my lifetime. This is the first sign of doing any form of downsizing DC, no matter how imperfect or incomplete it tends to be. There are strikes and foul balls. There are offensive things happening. There are bad policies. There are mistakes being made. And I'm no iconoclast. But let's call the game one pitch at a time and stick to a principle, shall we? Instead of making everything about a personality. Indeed, let others hope, even if it's hard for you, for more hits and home runs. Let us pray for real wisdom, even if we think the man in the position is Caesar. That is, after all, grace.